Hey Steelers Nation! Welcome back to the channel. The Pittsburgh Steelers are pushing forward, always looking to improve, and they're preparing for another high-stakes battle, this time against our biggest division rivals, the Baltimore Ravens. It's been a season of ups and downs, and we're here to break down everything that's going on with the team, including an important injury update, potential signings, and how all of this sets up our fight to keep the AFC North lead. Before we dive in, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Every bit of support helps us bring you the latest news, insights, and updates on your Pittsburgh Steelers. So, let's start with the tough news. Alex Highsmith went down with a scary ankle injury during last Sunday's nail-biting 28-27 victory over the Washington Commanders. It was a non-contact injury that had us all holding our breath. Highsmith was visibly frustrated, even throwing his helmet to the ground as the medical staff checked him out. Thankfully, the news on Tuesday was more optimistic than we'd feared. Highsmith's father shared on social media that Alex suffered a low ankle sprain, which means he's expected to be out for only 2 to 3 weeks. This is a huge relief for Steelers fans. Highsmith has been an anchor on our defense, and with the Ravens game around the corner, his absence will definitely be felt. But this team is ready to rise to the occasion. Stepping up in Highsmith's place, we've got Preston Smith, a veteran linebacker who joined the Steelers just last week after being traded from the Green Bay Packers. Smith showed his readiness and impact right away against the Commanders, and he'll need to bring even more fire as we go up against Baltimore. Not only that, but Nick Herbig, our backup linebacker, is also expected to return this week after missing 4 games due to a hamstring injury. Herbig was impressive in his previous appearances, with 2.5 sacks over 3 games before he got injured. He's shown he can handle the pressure, and he'll be a crucial part of the lineup while Highsmith recovers. This depth at linebacker is a massive benefit, especially with such a critical game on the horizon. Pittsburgh currently holds a half-game lead over the Ravens, and maintaining our position at the top of the AFC North will require every bit of talent we can muster. Speaking of the Ravens, Sunday marks our first divisional game of the season, and it's a big one. We've got history on our side, folks. Since Christmas Day 2016, Pittsburgh has dominated this rivalry, winning 11 of the last 15 games against Baltimore. Even when facing off against Lamar Jackson, we've had the upper hand, holding a 3-1 record in games he's started against us. Jackson hasn't beaten the Steelers since October 2019, and with the momentum we've built, we aim to keep it that way. However, Baltimore is no easy opponent. The Ravens come into this game with a 7-3 record, and they've been playing some excellent football. The Steelers' defense will have to contain not only Jackson's explosive playmaking abilities but also the raw power of Derrick Henry, who has been having an incredible season. The combination of Jackson and Henry is a challenge like no other, and our defense will need to be on its A game. This is where the Steelers' coaching staff, led by Mike Tomlin, shows its genius. Tomlin's aggressive, risk-taking approach has been a defining feature this season, and it's helped us secure a 7-2 record. He's made it clear that this risk culture is part of the team's identity. It's how we play, it's how we win, and it's what gives us an edge against tough teams. Now, let's talk about a potential addition to the roster that could pay off in a big way down the road. Pittsburgh has recently worked out Eric Rowe, a name that might sound familiar to Steelers fans. Last season, Rowe joined us late in the year and quickly became a crucial part of our defense. He stepped in during some tough moments, making big plays with an interception, a forced fumble, and 29 tackles over just 3 games. At 32, Rowe isn't necessarily in his prime, but he's proven that he can still bring it when it matters. The Steelers could add him to the practice squad, letting him get comfortable with the system again so that he's ready to step up if needed. With injuries always a possibility, having a reliable player like Rowe in the wings makes a lot of sense, especially considering we recently released Terrell Edmunds, leaving a potential gap in the secondary. Rowe's versatility is his biggest asset. He can play at safety or cornerback, adding depth across the secondary. He's experienced and familiar with our team culture, which could make him an excellent end-of-bench player who can jump in and perform if called upon. Adding Rowe wouldn't cost us a spot on the 53-man roster, and he wouldn't affect the salary cap in any significant way. Think of it as a smart insurance policy. Rowe would be there, ready to go, with no ramp-up time required. The Steelers have been making these kinds of moves all season, bringing in players like Jamal Agnew for special teams and signing veteran cornerback Cam Sutton. Rowe could be another savvy addition, and it's clear the front office is considering every angle to keep this team competitive and prepared for anything. What we're seeing here is a Steelers team that's focused on the long game. Tomlin and the coaching staff are taking risks, but they're also making sure that we have the depth needed to overcome injuries and stay competitive no matter what happens. With Highsmith out for a few weeks, bringing in a familiar face like Rowe would reinforce our secondary and give the team another option if injuries strike again. The Steelers have always been a team that prides itself on grit, resilience, and depth. From adding quality veterans to the roster to developing young talents like Herbig, Pittsburgh is doing what it takes to be a championship-level team. And as we head into this critical stretch of games, it's clear that every decision, big or small, counts. Steelers Nation, here's how it went down. Just before the team was about to hit the field to face the Commanders, defensive lineman Cameron Hayward revealed on his Not Just Football podcast that he came back from warm-ups to find the locker room in disarray. And why? Because a snake had slithered its way into the room. Picture this: Hayward walks in, expecting his usual pre-game routine, only to find everyone on edge. "There was a snake in our locker room," he said. And it wasn't just anywhere, it came from the bottom of Russell Wilson's locker. Talk about adding a twist to an already high-stakes game. Hayward described the scene, saying, "Everybody was a little bit shocked when I came in. I was like, what's going on?" There was that snake, seemingly calm but definitely not a welcomed visitor. Now, NFL stadiums are no strangers to quirks, but a snake crawling through the visiting team's locker room is rare, to say the least. Northwest Stadium, where the Commanders play, doesn't have the best reputation in the league when it comes to amenities. Still, no one expected something like this. Of course, when you're an NFL coach with a reputation like Mike Tomlin's, every situation, even a snake sighting, becomes a teachable moment. Hayward shared how Coach Tomlin used this bizarre experience as a rallying point for the team. According to Hayward, Tomlin told the players, "We can make a big deal about a small locker room, there being a snake, but it doesn't matter. We still gotta win." That's the kind of mentality that sets Tomlin and the Steelers apart. For him, this wasn't about a random animal interrupting their day. It was about not letting any distractions get in the way of their goal. Tomlin turned a moment of chaos into motivation, reinforcing the mantra that no matter what obstacles come their way, the Steelers are here to focus and win. And win they did. This gritty mindset carried the Steelers to a 28-27 victory over the Commanders, a team that came into the matchup with the same impressive 7-2 record. In a game where both sides were pushing hard for the win, the Steelers stayed composed under pressure, just like they'd been coached to do. Now, as Pittsburgh heads into Week 11 to face their longtime rivals, the Baltimore Ravens, that snake-in-the-locker-room mentality may just be the extra spark they need. With a 7-2 record, Pittsburgh sits half a game above the Ravens in the AFC North standings, and this Sunday's game could set the tone for the rest of the season. Facing Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry is no small task, but this experience shows just how focused and resilient the Steelers are. With Tomlin's no-nonsense approach, the team isn't just looking to compete, they're aiming to dominate, even against their toughest rivals. The Steelers have been building a mindset all season that's rooted in grit, resilience, and a focus on the endgame. Sure, an unexpected snake might throw anyone off, but not this team. This season, we've seen Tomlin lead the Steelers with a unique risk culture that has defined their play style. From aggressive defensive schemes to gutsy special teams plays, the Steelers are playing to win, not just to compete. Alex Highsmith's recent injury adds to the list of challenges, but the team continues to adapt. The resilience they showed in that game against Washington, both with the snake encounter and on the field, speaks volumes about this team's commitment to staying the course no matter what. Let's take a moment to appreciate what these little stories mean for Steelers Nation. This isn't just a funny anecdote, it's a testament to a team that thrives under Tomlin's leadership. It's a reminder of Pittsburgh's storied history as a team that refuses to get rattled, no matter what surprises come their way. We've seen this grit through decades of Steelers football, and it's this spirit that has made the team so iconic. This snake-in-the-locker-room story adds to that legacy in its own small way. Tomlin's reaction, turning it into a moment to motivate and galvanize his players, is exactly the kind of thing that has earned him such respect within the organization and around the league. He's not just a coach, he's a leader who knows how to pull a lesson out of any situation. Alright, Steelers Nation, now we want to hear from you. What do you think about signing Eric Rowe? Do you agree with the idea of adding him to the practice squad as a just-in-case player, or do you think we should save that spot for someone else? And how are you feeling about this upcoming Ravens matchup? With Alex Highsmith sidelined, do you think our defense has what it takes to stop Lamar Jackson and Derrick Henry? Plus, what are your thoughts on Mike Tomlin's high-risk approach this season? Do you think it's paying off, or would you prefer a more conservative strategy? Let us know in the comments below. And don't forget, if you enjoyed this breakdown, please like, subscribe, and ring the notification bell to stay up to date with all the latest on your Pittsburgh Steelers. This season is shaping up to be a thrilling ride, and we're excited to have you all along for every moment. Thanks for watching, Steelers Nation, and let's get ready to take down the Ravens. Here we go.